This video is to show you a quick overview of the coilover brackets for the front of a 95 to 2001 Explorer or a 98 to 2011 Ford Ranger four-wheel drive. It's designed to put coilovers on the front end, replace the torsion bar front suspension, go over a little bit how they get assembled. So right now, all these pieces, this is just one side right now of what I have. Kind of how it goes together. Quick layout, these are a bracket that go onto the frame on each side of the factory shock mount to help reinforce it. I'll show you exactly where they go a little bit later. And so this all makes up the upper bracket, then these ones will make up the lower bracket. I'll go real quick, assemble it on exactly how it all goes together real quick. Kind of tack it together, then show you on the truck exactly how it goes together. So let's get started. We'll start on the lower one first. I'm just going to show the passenger side. Driver's side will be an exact mirror of it. So that's how it goes together. Here too. So start real quick. This is the base plate that goes onto the shock, onto the lower A-arm bolts in. These are the two factory bolt holes for the coil for the stock shock. They just need to be drilled out to 3/8 bolts. That's what these are designed all for. So let's get started on it. First thing is that really helps a lot is having some type of 1.5" spacer. This one's just a piece of tubing. I had a little scrap. I just cut it to 1.5". Helps keep your coilover from mounts from falling over. So just install it. Make sure these they only go one direction. If you look at it here, you can see how it's offset so that it'll only fit on one way. But just make sure they're both going the same direction. So, and then this piece has it, so these two slots that are right here are for this to coil over. You just make sure it goes on in. And we'll just give it a quick tack weld to hold it for now. So that goes onto there like that. Then when you come back to the back side, and actually this piece here, the tabs, if you look on each side, are a different length so that it'll only fit on here one way, like so. So I just use a little magnet to line it all up, and then tack weld it on. You can see you just line it all up. They jig into each other and weld into each other, so that you just line it all together. And then a couple quick tack welds on that. Alright, so that just, as you can see, it just goes together. Tack weld, eventually that'll get all the way fully welded out. So now flip on the back side. This will get covered, so these need to be welded in first before you go any further. So that welds in the slots that these brackets that hold the lower shock mount eyelet go into. Those will eventually get covered so that this piece ends up sitting on the A-arm about like so. So once you got that welded in there, just take real quick a grinder and just kind of knock those down so to make sure they're flat. Alright, once those are knocked down so that they're flat so that the next piece can go on, that lower A-arm has some contours to it where the shock sits, so this will help take some of that out. This one goes on, this piece goes on first. There's two different angles on it. The tighter one here goes towards the inside, so that'll go there. And then this little spacer goes on this one, this side right here, and then just drop the bolts through. And then obviously when it's mounted on the truck, these will be going the other way, but it doesn't really matter right now. So once you have those down, bottom looks something like this. Now let's just weld these on there so that it helps get that plane out. Ready. That's how the lower mount goes together. Obviously once you're done, this will be all fully welded, but I just tack welded this together to give you an idea on exactly how it goes together. So then we'll move on to the upper mount. Alrighty, so now on to the upper mount. Start with basically the same bolt. You start with these. Now there's two different sides here. These are not identical to each other. There is a slight different steps in them. Basically on the top here, these tabs are different based on how it goes together because it actually sits at an angle. So they actually, if you tried to line them up, they actually don't line up. So what happens is the one on the thicker tab here goes to the front of the vehicle. So you start with it going through there, add the spacer, install the second one, and quickly run down the nut. Alright, so you have that together like so. The next one is this piece. Obviously there's an angle at the top. You can see how the top step is just a little bit different. So that allows you to know which way it goes in there. So it'll fit. You get it all lined up. Locks in. And this one, same way, these tabs on each end are different. So it snaps in. And then the upper mount is the same way. The tabs are different on each side. So it goes in. So that sits like that, and it'll actually kick it just a little bit off perpendicular because that front coil runs at just a little bit of an angle. So that goes in like that. And then, actually before this one goes on, you can run this bolt on. It needs a spacer on the top so that it fits in the shock mount right. So for now, just put this on here like so. Tighten this down. And voila. And then we'll just tack weld that all together, and then I'll show it to you on the truck. So that's the upper shock mount, all tacked together. Obviously once it's done, fully weld it across here, 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 around here, down both sides, and then it's fully in. So these two holes end up being 2 half-inch holes you drill in the back of the shock mount. It's on the truck, run bolts through them, tighten them down. And this 5/8 nut or bolt runs up through the top of the mount so that it bolts to where the factory shock did. Then that's what this does. It goes actually on the top, on the other side of the factory mount, which allows you to tighten it down, and I'll show you on the truck.